Right? So let's see here.
Are we alive?
Or are we Memorex?
It says live. Can you hear us? Can you hear us now?
I'm going to assume that they can.
Okay. Yes.
Oh.
We're
live.
We're live. Hello. We made it. We made it.
I was talking to Michael about how I figured out bumping this one thing on my blah, 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 and they blah, blah, blah. And so he wanted to prove it, so I think when he set up his camera, it bumped the thing and went blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Michael!
Jamie.
How are you?
I'm well.
Okay, let's see.
Good to see you again.
Shall we give people a quick second here to find us again? We're here.
We're live.
We're live now. Wow.
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. But I think we're okay now.
The technical difficulties have resolved, and
Yep.
it's a sunny day.
It's a very here comes the sun. Doo-doo. Oh man. So, how have you been, Michael?
I've been well. I have been working hard, working on my deck.
Okay.
It's coming along steadily.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You've done the sun card on your deck, right?
I have.
Okay.
And my sun card has Apollo because I wanted to personify him.
Yeah.
So it has him with his what is it called? A cithara? The 7 strings on
his harp?
It's a classical musical instrument, kind of the 7 spheres of music that he's plucking away.
Yeah.
But then I also have the horse from the Rider-Waite.
Good, okay.
But it doesn't have a kid on it. It's just free. It's a free horse.
Aww.
And it's just galloping
joyously under the sun.
Joyously under the sun. Exactly.
And I can't wait till everybody finally gets to see it.
I can't either.
So,
Coming soon.
Eventually,
yes.
We're all going to get... You're going to... I get to see it. Eventually, you all are going to get to see it, and it's pretty darn cool.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
But let's go back in history. Let's talk about the history of the sun card.
Yes. So, and the history of the sun. So, what was it? About 4 billion years ago, we had a gigantic...
gas.
There's a big bang, and then a bunch of things. And the sun was created, and that affected everything, period.
We would not have life without it.
It generated life, it started life, and even before we came along, it affected nocturnal, diurnal. It is so ingrained in our DNA that it's one of those things you can truly say without it, we would probably not be here, or we would be some type of an alien that lives off of chemical...
the tardigrade.
Yeah. So, yep, and so it's been pictured all through history. I mean, if you look at anything like the Australian cave art, American cave art, if you look at other cave art, Neolithic, you can see people representing the sun because it means so much.
So much, yeah. I think George Carlin has this wonderful bit where he's just like, if I'm going to have to believe in something, make my God the sun, because I can see it. It gives life, it makes sense.
Right.
There's no, if I pray to it, you get about the same results as so George Carlin,
Right.
but yeah, the sun worship, it's about as basic as it gets.
Right. And so we've got all that, and then of course Christianity comes along, and it has to incorporate the sun because we have the Apollo,
sun, right? But it comes to the Son of God.
Yeah, because the Son of God, because obviously, with Greek mythology, Apollo, we had, they had all that going on right there, and all the literature and everything, and Christianity, had to try and absorb all of this.
But before Christianity, the ancient world, the Greek word helios means both the sun and God. So that's kind of interesting.
And a heliosphere is what's around the sun.
Right? and Helios, Wake Up Your Steeds is what's that song? Moody Blues, Helios, Wake Up Your Steeds, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. Okay.
I like the Moody Blues.
I know.
Now I'm trying to think of what song that is. Okay.
Anyway.
And so, and so the sun gets represented everywhere and all that other wonderful stuff like that. And so I was just going to bring up a couple other things. Well, I guess we could actually take a look at the cards.
Yeah, so...
Because right off the bat...
Well, look at this. So the old, oldest deck, the Visconti Sforza, it's got the classical personification of Sol, S-O-L, or also the sun, is this red-faced guy. And the decapitated head is kind of goes back to the whole idea of overcoming the ego. So you'd see this in a lot of classical artistic representations of this beheaded face or head as a kind of way to kill the ego. But interestingly, the Hebrew letter associated with the sun card is Resh, R-E-S-H, and that translates as head or face.
And yeah, I can see. Well, but being the sun,
face.
that is like the ultimate in ego.
right, exactly.
So I'm not sure. I was not able to quite find a reference as to why, and maybe somebody in the notes or somebody can tell us why they think that the head is actually in here as the sun. So it is a decapitated head as the sun being held up by a cherub.
Right, and. Like I said, I think it has something to do with the killing of the ego.
Well, yeah, but back then they're not thinking killing of the ego. They're thinking either mythology or they're not quite that deep.
Well, the myth might have been incorporating this. I don't know.
And also, so we have in this card we have multiple layers. So we have the lower layer here, which is is like an underlayer. It's a cliff edge.
Yeah.
We have the green here, where I presume is human, and then. Why I think this deals with the gods and Cupid and things like that, because then we have a floating layer here, where he's floating above all others, holding the sun, carrying the sun across.
Interesting.
So we've got the different layers here. So it probably deals with the mythology, but I didn't quite come across the reason why in the research.
Yeah, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this card might have been a recreation. I don't think the Visconti Sforza actually had the sun card in it.
I didn't read anywhere that said it was not the original.
Okay.
And this one's probably a safe one to have because it's not a devil, it's not a tower, it's not a...
Right, but yeah, I'm not sure. I know that the Modron didn't have that.
I've got that right over there. It would say right there if it was the original or not, but
yeah.
Nothing I read said that it was not.
It wasn't, okay. So interesting.
So we can speculate either way on that one.
Yeah.
And then from there,
yes,
we get to move to the 1659.
Mm-hmm.
And now, instead of a cherub, we have... I'm just going to do a super zoom.
We've got these figures.
We have these figures here now.
Now, in the Noble, it looks like a young man and a woman, two lovers.
Yep.
And this, changed when the convert came along. It became two boys.
And this is where we get to start wondering, okay, so who is this? There's a lot of speculation.
Yeah. But you see, with the Minchiati card, there's also two lovers.
Right, and so they drew in on that.
Yeah.
But here, some people say, if we're going to say that it's two people, that it's Adam and Eve, is what some people speculate.
Possibly in a garden, yeah.
Because when we do go along to the to whether it is the next we go with the Noble, not the Noble, the
Dawdle.
The Dodal, the Dawdle. Now we kind of lose all of that kind of caricature here.
They become two boys.
And then people...
Is it Gemini?
That's the thing. Is this going to be Gemini now? Is it, which is Castor and Pollux?
Right. So there's the two other things. It could be Castor, who's mortal, and Pollux, who's immortal. Pollux's father was Zeus. So that made him immortal. They shared the same mother, Leda. So it could be the Celestial brothers, or it could be the mythical founders of Rome, Remus and Romulus. And interestingly, Remus is mortal and Romulus is immortal. So it's again the repeating theme.
So you've got these things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's anybody's guess. I mean, from here, I think we have male and female. There's a wall there, like a little paradise.
Yeah.
So the wall is, is it they'd seen like the walls of Babylon in pictures. They've seen pictures of paradise from Adam and Eve. So we're not sure.
Right.
And then we do have the two humans here. And then a couple interesting things here. So if we jump ahead a little bit to the conver.
Yeah.
And what makes the conver so interesting when we're talking about it is because this is where most of the occultists in the 1800s would start pulling their inspiration for their cards.
Right.
This was the popular deck at the time.
Yes.
And it remained popular for quite a long time. And it's one that Waite would have had. It's one that Oswald Wirth obviously copied from. And so there's a few interesting things on this. And a couple of the questions is that why is he standing on something?
Mm-hmm.
As in, I mean, we can see that
right.
This one, he's standing on a clump of earth. And so,
or a flying saucer.
Or a flying saucer. And then convert, now we can see here he's on a pitcher mound.
Yeah.
And we can see that one of them is actually just kind of loose here. The other one is kind of actually just like this one. They're reaching. So it's like he's helping or she's helping. This one's actually reaching out. And somebody suggested maybe this person was kind of even blind-like and being assisted as he's feeling around. And here's the one who's assisting them.
Possibly. But they both have their eyes.
That's again speculation.
Yeah, they both have their eyes open.
But it is true that this one here is just kind of reaching out, and this one here is actually holding
comforting
them. Almost looks like it's comforting.
Yeah.
So,
and you've got the dewdrops going back up.
Yeah. And so another thing that was popular is the question is is this tied with the devil card? Did you read about that?
Yeah, so because, they even have the ropes around their necks. I mean, are these the same figures from the devil card that have broken free of the illusion and are now in paradise? Or
Yep, so here's where the devil... And this is what's interesting is because as we're going through the deck, we go through the darkest period.
Right.
We go from the devil, we then go to the tower before we come out into the darkness of the stars.
With the little bright,
bright
star leading you back out.
We come out of the cave.
Yep.
And it's darkness outside.
Yep.
We come out of that funk that we're in, that emotional cave, that psychological cave. So we have the star and we can finally see hope. Because we're seeing that light and we're hoping that's not actually a train coming towards us.
But then it gets a little brighter and the moon is there.
And the moon is there.
So our faith grows.
And so is it these imps that are making that journey? And the reason is, and what's really interesting here, is that you are correct. It's like the only remnants left of the rope.
It's just the collars.
Would be the collars. And so why are these wearing a collar?
Yeah.
Even she's wearing a collar in the 1659 one.
Yeah.
So why are they wearing a collar? And then I'm sure that we're not the only ones to recognize this. Back in the 17 and 1800s, in the convert, he's got a tail.
Well, possibly.
Okay, it looks like it could be just a thing on the butt. But if you are...
Some little extra cellulite.
You like, if you think about Levi...
They like to see
They are looking at everything.
Yeah.
And so if you look very closely at this...
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well...
But it's enough it's up there
I
to give
gotcha.
people speculation.
Right, and so and that was interesting because I just saw that in my research. So
The collars are definitely there. The tail, I think it's just a little bit extra.
it is, and there is no basis to believe that it is, other than the fact that if I was
they wanted to see
Levi,
Yep.
if I was Waite,
Yep.
if I was an occultist,
Sure.
then I might want to consider that.
Sure.
But again, there's absolutely no
firm.
Right. But I thought that was interesting.
No, it totally is.
And it was Joe Dvorsky that points that out.
And of course it was.
Yeah,
he
Joe
loves to see things.
Yeah, and so when I read that, I went over to my deck. I went over to my convert deck, and I'm like, you are right.
Yeah.
I looked at that as just a natural curvature of the butt.
That's what I always thought. But you can see it as a tail.
But he wants to see it as a tail, and he's the one that kind of explained it and brought that idea.
Yeah.
Where he actually went through the path.
Right.
And it's like, that makes so much... I mean, mentally now, when I'm reading...
Right.
I can see...
the progress.
The new joy... understand the joy now.
Yeah.
That they're feeling. And maybe because the right-hand side is active, the left-hand side is passive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the active side is helping this person...
get there.
To get where they need to be
step.
under this... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As they go to the mound.
Right. Oh, cool. I guess he's a little bit higher.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's just for reading. That's just for speculating now as we're going forward.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of cool.
Definitely.
And now that's locked into my head.
And in alchemy, they call it, the great work is called the path of the sun. So you get, that's going a little bit further into the esoteric. I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping ahead.
No. Well, so we see the images here. So one thing I did want to do was I did want to look at some of the earlier cards, some of the earlier periods.
Let's go back.
But, dude. Oh my gosh, I'm like, hey, Terra Vita, that's okay because my stuff blew up. Okay?
It's okay. Everything's sunshiny now.
Everything is sunshiny now.
And you can always rewind and watch the beginning part you missed.
Yes. So looking at some of the early decks here, and so this was this is a cool one here because this is Diogenes. As you can, if you've ever heard of him, he's the philosopher who criticized pretty much everything and.
Yes.
He lived in a barrel.
Yes.
He lived in a barrel. And what this is representing here is that this is Alexander the Great who had heard of the great Diogenes.
And he comes over and he's like, dude, you can't get out of my...
No. Well, first Alexander says, I've heard of you and I want to give you a gift and I will give you a princeliness and gift. And Diogenes says, well, just get out of my son. That's what I want is if you just get out of my son.
That's my gift. You're casting a shadow on me. Could you please move along?
So here we have the sun card here. Where I guess we can learn from Diogenes. And then the second card is from the Charles VI deck.
Yes.
Probably commissioned by the Court of Fiera. And here we can see the sun. We have this nice little gold wall here. And so we just have this lovely woman enjoying it.
Sure.
And then, as we already talked about this one here.
The Visconti.
So we already talked about the Visconti and that noggin that he's holding there.
The red face.
And again, if anybody knows what mythology this is from, that would be great. Again, I think that it's because of the multi-layers here. I think this is going down. Here's the earthly plane, and this is the heavenly
celestial.
plane.
Yeah.
The celestial.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we come into where those decks were for the rich.
Yes.
Those were for the decks that would have them hand-painted.
Yep.
They'd give them out as gifts, all that wonderful stuff.
Sure.
And then we come along, and it's like,
can the masses have a deck too?
Exactly. And it's so interesting because these were found in book bindings. These were were thrown away. They would do test printings, but paper was so expensive they would use it for something else.
Yep.
And so here we have the test printings that were found in a book binding. And then we have, and this is the 15th century, so 1400s. We don't have exact date. 15th going into the 16th century.
Hmm.
So here we have part of the Carrie Yale, and below the sun here we can see possibly a naked boy, and he's got something in his hand here, but we don't know. And then we have the Roswald sheet.
Yeah, Carrie Yale and Rosenwald, that's all 15th century.
Yep.
So this is early on.
Yep. And
they got the red face on.
Only depicts the sun here.
Yeah.
And this is the Budapest sheet.
The Budapest, yeah, it's got
it's
that.
It's the Rosenwald that's in the D.C., right?
D.C., I think so.
So we live in Washington, D.C., and so we keep talking about that every time I pull up this. We need to go take a look at
road
sheets.
trips. Yeah.
And so here we actually finally see in the Budapest, we see a coloring. And here we see the face again.
Red face, yeah.
We get to see a face looking down. Is it the face of God? If it was Monty Python, it would be.
It's the face of the sun.
And so, and it's sending the energy and warmth and everything to the earth below here.
Yep.
Warming it all up. And then we also have the Rothschild, where we show Clotho, who is one of the three fates, or Moria. How's that pronounced? Moria?
Moria?
Something like that. But she's one of the three fates, and she's spinning the thread of life underneath
the sun.
An apathetic-looking sun.
Aww. He's kind of grumpy.
He looks kind of grumpy here. Or it's Cthulhu. See the tentacles?
The tentacles, yes.
Yes, okay. So, and what do we got? Yeah, I wonder if it ever started drawing faces in the sun. Whoever did.
Who is the first?
You know?
Yeah, I always see when I was very little, I always had the sun in the corner. You know, the corner of the page was always the sun.
Well, it's funny. You stole my idea. So you already posted a gift. You know that picture of but you have a man's face coming up. Do you know what that's from?
I thought it was Nicolas Cage, but I'm not sure what the original was.
That face or that image is actually, and I think it is Nicolas Cage. Yeah. Now that you say that. But the Teletubbies would have a little baby son coming up. So I was going to even open up with that, but I decided not to.
Yeah, that's nightmare fuel.
Nightmare fuel, correct.
We need to keep this sunny and bright.
So let's see. So I guess we can start moving forward a little bit.
Okay.
And maybe look at some of the other decks as we go through.
So here
So you got the Giovanni.
Yeah, and this is with Apollo.
Apollo playing a viol or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be similar to my deck.
Right, and it's showing the sun, and it's showing Apollo playing with the laurel wreaths, and it shows the bundle of wheat for growth and all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
So this is 1893.
That's moving up, but quite a bit. Let's move back. Let's go back to...
well, okay.
You want to do this one? Okay,
well, I was going to say also because I kind of skipped it, but 1831. And here we have that couple where you were talking about the lovers.
Right.
So here we have some lovers.
Yeah, and you'll see that again with the ancient Italian. There's that lovers theme. Also, what the Minchiati had the lovers too. Yeah. And he's actually copping a feel there. And
that's Effie's. Is that a blanket or is this something else where in Florida we can't say the word anymore?
They're picnicking.
Looks like it could be a couple of women, but
yeah,
no. So and we have the
love is love
there. Exactly.
Under the sun, it's all good.
And then I've also got the anonymous one from Cerville, Caesar, Italy.
Yeah, ancient Italian.
The ancient Italian.
Definitely some lovers there.
Yeah. And this is a cool deck. I actually like reading with this deck. And here it's just another bright, bright sun. But this one here is a rarity in the fact that it does not have a face on it.
Right.
In the stylized. But we have the garden in this one, and we have the wall.
Yep.
And then Oswald Wirth.
Sure.
Yeah. And then we have...
So he goes back to the
Noblet.
The Marseille style. Yep.
And here we have the male and the female again, which quite possibly, again, could be Adam and Eve with the sun. Nice little face on there. 12
rays of the 12 of the geometric rays and 12 of the undulating rays. This goes to the whole zodiac thing. And you'll see that pop up later on in the Crowley deck. Yes. Indeed. But that's what the 12 is for.
So, do we want to jump now to the Rider-Waite?
Indeed. So the Rider-Waite was inspired by the Jacques Viville tarot from 1650, which was the first one where you see, instead of a sun motif, you've got this naked youth on a white horse. And in the Jacques Viville tarot, the first one where this happens, he's holding this red and green flag, which signifies victory.
Oh, that's right. You got the Jacques Viville, and
Yeah.
So that's right. To pull that up, I got a picture here
In our wonderful book.
In our wonderful book.
Yeah.
So this is the Jacques Viville. So we're speculating as to where.
So I'm guessing that this came first. So Rider-Waite was probably very much inspired by this one, and it's got the red and green flag, which means victory. It's got this naked youth on a white horse with another grumpy-looking sun. Look at that.
So that's the Viville. And
Yep.
You can show your screen
Oh,
there.
please, thank you.
So what I came up with is that one of the things is that in popular in manuscripts, one of the things that would pop up is we have this right here, and this here is from a German treatise on astrology created by Johann Hartlieb. And it shows the sun child riding in a garden with a toy horse. Okay, and it's carrying the same banner as you see
For the Rider-Waite.
in the Rider-Waite, but in the Judgment card. So with that banner represents the same banner with which the resurrected Christ is often depicted, which stands for victory over death. And behind the wall here
Is the Judgment Angel.
we see the Judgment Angel. So this, I think, might be, since this is a popular motif, and you can see here, we also have the astrology signs.
Yep.
So this right here is a popular motif also, so that when we look at the Rider-Waite, we see that child, and
the
then
horse. Yep.
here we see that same angel.
Yeah. But it comes later in the card.
Now,
Interesting.
and keep in mind that this is 1400 to 1468 is when this guy lived. 1400s.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he's inspiring two cards.
So see that screen capture right there?
That predates.
And so it's probably not the only place where, the only manuscript where this would be, or the only place this was. So again, we can see here that same looking angel. We see the child again. And the hair even kind of looks the same.
Yep. Got the red hair.
See that? See the curly
Red cross. Oh, the boy. Yeah. He's
hair?
got the blonde
See the
curly
boy
hair.
with the blonde curly hair?
Yep.
And being all gleeful. So, on top of the, inspirations come from everywhere.
Absolutely.
But this one, to me, when I saw it, looked really, really close to the Rider-Waite cards. Yes.
Yeah. Two cards.
To a combination
Yeah.
of these two.
Interesting.
Where these two actually fit in together is because we have gone from the darkness and the devil card. So, and then we go from the moon. Now we're going into the final three cards and the final steps in our journey, because we're going from the sun and the joy of the sun. What are we going to celebrate? We are celebrating our new resurrection. We are celebrating the fact that we have come through, and that we are going to, this is the religious card, the resurrection. If you've lived a good life, everything else, and you're purified like this baby, then you're going to pop out of the grave.
Possibly. Or it's like, it's childlike freedom. Remember, this is number 9, which is the end of the cycle. And so he's naked, he's free of material possessions, he's on his way back to spirit, on his way back to that Fool state. And he actually is connected to the Fool. Look, he's got a red feather in his hair that, just like the Fool, has a red feather in his hair. So he's connected to, he's being reborn, as it will, as to that, he's at the last step, that 9, end of the cycle, and he's going back into the 0, so he's going to be the Fool again.
Okay. Hey, it's all good.
Yeah. And the wall, it's a low wall, right? He could easily jump it. It contains the garden, but it could be easily jumped. And I think of that as the boundary between the conscious and the subconscious, which can be overcome now that the conscious mind prevails over fear and illusion from the moon card. And now you can jump the wall. You're free.
Right. And so the question I have about that is that, so we have other interpretation. We have
the wall's always low.
The wall is low, but we also see on other interpretations the foliage is near them. But with this, the foliage is actually outside of the wall.
Behind the wall. Like he's leaving the material behind and he's going back into the...
Possibly.
Yeah.
Reading Waite's book, The Key to the Tarot, tells you absolutely nothing. Other than he thinks he's the smartest person on the planet.
Wow.
I know. I've read too much about him.
Oh.
No, it's all good. It is all good. That's why I actually have all these books, right?
Right.
So let's see. So we got that. And yes, so we have that card. He's been the right away, and then.
Can I go back to 2350 BC? I want to go way back. So
yes. Hold on. So we're.
I want to rewind just a bit.
Oh, where am I? Here it is. There's the front. Okay, so you got me discombobulated. So that was our time machine. Did you see all the looping going there? Okay. So this the myth of Horus, right? He's the son of Osiris and Isis, the nephew of Seth. So that's Osiris's brother. And in this myth, Seth murders Osiris. And he contests the heritage of Horus. Okay.
They become enemies, and Horus eventually defeats Seth, avenging his father.
Yeah.
But his left eye is damaged, kind of like Odin.
Yeah.
And then there's this myth to explain the moon's phases, where his eye is healed. The moon, like the phase.
Okay. Yep.
And his eye is healed by Thoth, and it becomes this powerful amulet, which is the Widget Eye, whatever. But just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know the whole
it all means something.
It was the symbol of renewal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is it's that connection to the alchemical child, which is the hands outstretched. This figure that's on the horse.
Yeah.
That is a symbol of renewal. It's the alchemical child, and the whole myth of Horus is kind of connected to that.
Yeah.
So it's
and it all ties into the joy of this card.
Yes.
It's the joy of a new day.
Yes.
And again, we've gone through the star. We've gone through hell and back.
And now it's happy time.
Literally, we have gone between hell and back. And now it's like, we've walked through the fire.
And now
we're rejuvenated.
Now life is good.
Now life is good. And
the sun and the moon is now been paired, so now you've got that balance.
Yeah.
There's completion, right? This is at the end. This is 9 or the 19, I should say.
So, and what do you say about that? So, me and him believe, as far as numerology, a lot of people will say, well, you take
some people say
19. So 9
plus 9
would be 10,
right?
So, but.
Jamie and
I prefer. I like the cycles.
Yes,
I think you have 1 through 9, and then
10.
Well, 1 through 9, and then that's the completion. And then 10 is
the start of the new cycle.
It's the start of a new cycle. That's 0.
Right.
And so that's where you've culminated, and now it's time to renew and begin again. That's your 0. That's your full.
Yep.
And then you go forward again.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's
or the wheel of fortune is also a 0.
Is a 10. 1 and 0 because we're starting over again.
Right. And anything goes.
Yep. And,
but it's that 9 powers that's striving towards perfection, and that's what the sun is.
Right. And even with the minors, so we have the 9 as the completion because we don't have a 10.
Right.
I mean, we go into the 10. And then the 10 is the renewal, which is the start
again.
And the start again.
Yeah. It's like the completion plus 1. It's like 9 is the end, but then 10 is like, it's over, and it's like the aftermath.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. Yes. I wanted to mention the whole balancing thing. So you've got the balance that now you've seen the moon and the sun. So you've got the god and the goddess, the red and the white, the gold and the silver.
Yep.
It's the opposite forces, male and female, light and dark, heat and light, vibration, radiation. And those are, again and again, all these opposites being united. You've got those alternating rays.
Yep.
So one is angular and the other's curvy. Mm-hmm. And so that's the heat and the light. But it's the vibration and movement which is life. And the radiant sun is the absolute affirmation of life. It's the giver of all life. And sunlight is perpetual. Just it's always there. Night is an illusion. When the earth...
As a matter of fact, they talk about how you have the sun. The sun is the real energy.
Right.
And the moon is merely a reflection of the sun.
Right.
And they knew that.
Right. So the whole idea is as the earth turns, the sun doesn't set, it's just hidden, right? So it's always there. So night is an illusion, just like death is an illusion. So the immortality is the consciousness of the continuation of existence. So we know that the sun still shines, just as we know that that life continues.
Which is just another cycle.
It's just another cycle. Exactly.
And here we are where we come back to the Wheel of Fortune next.
Right,
which is the end of a cycle.
Exactly. What comes next?
Exactly. So, and I wanted to show that one last card as far as another possible, where's it at? So here we have, instead of a child though, but again, we do have a motif.
He's bearded.
Exactly. Still, we have a motif of somebody riding on a horse.
Yeah.
And this one right here is the Van den Boer Tarot Sun from the 1780s. And so this again shows with the sunshine and everything else. So that motif was there.
Right. The red and white flag.
Right. And talk about the circular. So here we have, these are actually the planets which circle around this circle here.
And you see that in Crowley's card, he's got the zodiac signs circling his sun.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into that now?
Yeah. I don't have much.
Do you have something?
I have got just a little bit, but I can take us on the side route for something that I find interesting.
Okay. What do you find interesting on a side route?
Okay, so...
Is this with Crowley or is this something...
No, this is something different.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation, yeah.
Teach me.
Okay, so in Crowley's one, he's got the 12, zodiac signs circling his sun. 12 zodiac signs. Just like in the Worth one, you've got the 12.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Now...
So it's got the emblems going around here.
Right. And Crow, I don't have much to say.
And that's the Gemini right there.
Right. And it's actually the two little babies are on the Fool card as well. They're grown up a little bit here. So that's the repeating patterns that you see in the Crowley deck. But Crowley even says this is one of the simplest cards. There's, what you see is what you get. There's nothing new under the sun. But what I find interesting, and I'm going to take you on a side reel talk here. As you know, because I've had this conversation with you before, the zodiac started out with just 10 signs, right? and and when they were originally when the zodiac predates the calendar, right? It's ancient. So when they were trying to figure out the calendar, these ancient astronomers said, okay, well, we're going to have 12 separations of the year to 12 months. So we need to extend the 10 zodiac signs. So they took the zodiac sign that was in the middle that had an M for middle. They split this sign into two different signs. So it became Virgo, which is the M with the loop, and Scorpio, which is the M with a point, and it became two signs. And then they added an additional sign, the Libra, which is kind of why it's that weird sign that it is the only one that has an inanimate object scales, right? And it's kind of like an oddball. Yeah. It's the middle one, so they put that right between the two. So you've got the two M's plus Libra. That makes that splits one into two, so you've got one additional one, plus Libra, the scales, that's two additional. Then all of a sudden you got the 12 zodiac signs that became what everybody knows, right? But I just kind of find that, and then of course I take it a step further because well, I'm going to be curious to hear. I've never heard this. Oh yeah, this goes back to I've got a source for this one. Woo! So this is referenced in Manly Hall's The Occult of All Ages. He references, and it's a Rosicrucian. Okay, so there's not a mythology. There's not a Plato said that unto this day we shall now make it. Or when they made the Julian calendar, they extended the holiday. They did all this stuff. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. So now we're talking about, as we get into the occultists, this is what they saw and derived from. I believe this is what happened, which is valid. I mean, the occultists, they study this stuff. They feel this. They feel it. Right. So they make it valid in their world. Right. But I think it's and I just wanted to bring that because it's like I'm sure a lot of people, it's like if they've read books on astrology, right, and maybe not a books on occultism, right, exactly. So there's two different paths, and a lot of the early history of astrology from these ancient astronomers or whatever were purposely destroyed to. Out with the old, in with the new, that kind of thing. So they used astrology. Astrology was important because, first off, it was a science. John Dee and on through the Middle Ages, it was still considered a science. Sure. And it's also how people used it for guiding their ships. Right. Everything else. Yeah. So, the stars. It's very important. Yeah. Right. So it was very important. Fortune telling was banned. Right. In a lot of areas because obviously you can't, You shouldn't take advantage of. Yeah. But the astrology was in the early days, it was respected almost like astronomy is today. It's astrology. Yeah. It was a science. It was a science. That's the natural philosopher was a science, and natural philosophy is observing the world. Right. So, but there is experts who believe that the zodiac started out with 10 signs, and then there's another controversial thing that in the 70s where the sidereal astrology decided to add 2 more signs. And this is where I thought you were going to go. Yeah, and yes. So just a bit. Yeah. So again, it was Manly Hall. Manly Hall, yeah, the occults of what year was he? He was like 1800s, right? But he was referencing earlier. Right, but do you know what he was referencing? He was referencing some Rosicrucian book. Okay. These. Okay. Yeah. So he got experts. So that's how they believe that we got to 12. Yeah. Then this is the part where I knew you wanted to come to. Okay. So then this is the part he wanted to come to. Wow. This is another part. Hey, Michael, why do you have 100 cards in your deck? I did add all. In addition to the 12 zodiac signs that you'll see in the Minchiati and certain Taroshi decks like that, I added the extra 2 more of Ophiuchus and Cetus, the Serpent Bearer, and the whale, or no, and or what they call it, the sea serpent and the serpent bearer is the two additional signs, and they've always been.
Well,
there.
explain how. Okay, so we have the original 12 in the zodiac.
Yes.
Then in the 70s, along somebody comes and says, "Hey, you know what?
The stars."
In reality, we have 14.
Right. Because he's saying that the stars have moved since the earlier days, and we need an update. So we've got these two ancient signs. We're just going to add them in, and two for balance. You know. And
so you've covered all bases.
I loved it. I threw it in there because I like to have.
And with your deck, with your deck, we could just do a regular reading.
You can
get rid of all the decks. You have the
extra cards.
But you have the choice with the 100.
You've got extra cards.
You can
use the full deck,
and that's what makes it interesting. Is that because I have some decks where they've added extra cards, and I generally I'm a purist, but it'll be interesting again when I can finally use your deck for reading. I've never tried reading with 100 cards.
100 card deck. It'll be different, but yeah, you can do it either way. But I love the whole updates to astrology, and I figure it's all a pseudoscience anyway. So why not have two more fun cards, and I can read just as well with those. Anyway, so
no,
it's fun.
It is. That's actually interesting. And until you came along, I did not because in all reality, yes, the stars shift.
Exactly.
Even in 2,000 years, they are not in the same positions they were.
So the horoscopes might be more accurate if we adjusted.
That's a whole conversation.
Yes, but going back to the sun,
and hold on. Gwen is asking, when are you launching your deck? Hey, Michael,
that's a good question.
Michael, when are you launching your deck? Let's ask your wife.
So I am. I'm more than halfway finished, but I still have a ways to go. I'm working hard my goal is to complete this year. My goal is in 2022, I want to be completely finished with this deck.
Did you say that last year also?
No, I said that this year.
Was it? Okay.
This coming year. Yeah, it's always been.
It's funny. His wife is always
It's always been 2022. 2022 is my goal so I've got the rest of the year, technically, to finish. It might be the very last day of the year at the rate I'm going, but that's the goal that I'm trying to
I still think you should do a Kickstarter.
Possibly. I'm thinking
you've got enough cards started. You've got your major arcana plus.
Yes. I've got 70 out of the 100 done, finished. So it's progress is there, but it's not there yet. So I want to show you the updated cards. You haven't seen them.
I have not seen your updated cards.
You need to see those.
Okay.
But anyway, I do have one more thing to talk about regarding the sun, which I found interesting. The whole opposite forces in balance thing. Okay. So the thermonuclear process, now we're going scientific.
Okay.
So the thermonuclear process, light and energy, is created by burning the sun's fuel, and that keeps the sun from collapsing upon itself. It's because it's burning.
A white dwarf or red dwarf
or a black hole.
Black. Yep. Go ahead. Yep.
And that's balanced by the gravitational presence of the sun's mass, which keeps everything burning, contained, and stable. So you've got the gravitational force combined with the burning of the fuel, and it's those two things in balance that make it work. And that's the whole thing again. It was just all about balance, right? With the.
Well, I do see the balance between the moon and the sun. I mean, all
there's that too. There's that too.
You have your equilibrium, and you have upright and reverse. So so the balance and the equilibrium.
Yeah, that's always the goal.
Okay.
And and one last thing that I found early Gnostic Christians when talking about twins, because the twins show up. They thought of Christ's twin as Satan. So Satan and Christ were twins.
I've never heard that one.
Gnostic Christians.
So is this one of the apocryphal Gospels? Because I would have thought I'd heard of that, so I'm looking that one up.
Yeah. This is Gnostic Christianity. So this is the stuff that got weeded out of the Bible. But
Can I ask where you heard that from? So I can look that up because
you'll be able to find it.
Okay.
You will be able to find it. I don't have a written down source for that, but it is.
And just like a parent, it's like obviously one is favored over the other.
Right. But you need both.
Why can't you be more like your other brother,
right.
Jesus? You got to be a rebel.
But
Dad,
but
I'd rather serve in hell then.
But he's the morning star. I mean, like we were going with earlier. It's interesting.
Aren't we all brothers?
We are, and you have to have the balance. You have to without the yin and the yang, it's incomplete. It's like
he was brought in to be the light of the world, the
right.
guide, and everything
but you need
else.
the darkness too.
Yeah, well, yes.
You need the 666 is only evil because you don't have it paired with the 999. You need the whole. Anyway.
We're going to start our own religion.
We should. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's do some tarot.
Well, hold on. Did you have anything else with Crowley?
No. Crowley, he said, is one of the simplest cards.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else.
With him is, because you always pull it. So I always pull up Crowley just because you always pull up Crowley.
I know. I've got you trained well.
I know. Well, it's like if you're going to talk about Crowley, I should at least have something to say. And then,
what do you got?
From his own words, about the twins here, they represent man and woman, forever young, shameless and innocent.
Oh.
They dance under the light. They live on Earth, and they live on Earth. They symbolize the next phase of human beings' achievements in freedom and is exactly the same as the cause and result of solar's new approach to the Earth.
A new day is...
A new day, and there's your balance because it's a continuous cycle.
Exactly.
It's in balance.
The Fool.
Yes. And so, yeah, and... Yep. Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot in this card this time either. I'm sure that somebody in the comments can give us like a whole
more on Crowley
lesson.
It's a pretty simple card. The sun is just the sun.
The sun cool. So yes. So wow. So I
do we have time?
We do.
Okay.
But it's funny. So I always like to see how the cards. Yeah, I like to show how the cards look in an actual reading because.
Yep.
That's ultimately what we do here is we want to be able to
divine.
And learn, grow.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on because we want to be able to have new interpretations as we're doing our readings every single time I learn something. And for me, the big thing now is learning, seeing how close the sun and the devil are in the convert because I do like the convert deck and maybe I'll use that. For the reading.
Yeah, I like the convert deck, but the whole twins thing, I prefer to go the Apollo route for my deck.
Absolutely.
But I do. But the wall, the walled garden with the twins, it is interesting, and it's
and there is even a wall. I mean, if you do this,
the continued,
the wall is continued.
There's definitely lots of similarities.
So, but anyway.
Yeah. Where he's the deceiver, the sun is the actually shedding the truth.
So, yep. So, oh, good. Okay, I thought
we're still live.
No technical difficulty. So, well, then I tell you what.
Let's use the convert deck. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, we can use any other deck. What inspires you? Every morning when I do my morning readings, I go with what's inspiring me. So,
well, I'd go with the Crowley one if you...
Oh, here we go. So, Teravita's I'm gonna pull cards with you.
Nice.
Okay.
We can do it together.
So,
you want to do Comber? You want to do Crowley? What do you want to do?
Oh, I'm sitting here just being fascinated by these two. I'm going to grab the Comber.
Don't blind yourself by the sun. just quick looks, and then just look away.
All week I've pretty much been using the Rider-Waite style for the morning meditations.
Nothing wrong with that.
So,
go old school.
There we go. The sun will come out. So, what we like to do is to show you how the card looks in a reading. And so, do we want to just do the one reading? We do it together?
Sure.
Okay. So, here we have the sun. So, let's say we're doing a reading, and we want to find that joy again. We want to find that happiness.
Happy, joy.
The sun is the balance in the center of everything. So, if we think about this, the person on the left is the one that, the way this looks.
Yeah, reaching out for help.
They're reaching out for help. So, this is where we're limping from. This is where we're having possible problems.
The past.
And so we need help. And so this person here is going to give us the help.
Get us up on the mound.
This is the problem.
Yeah. And then the happy ending.
This is where we're going to go. This is the solution.
Yes.
So if I was using this card, this might be how I would do it.
Yep.
So this is where we're coming from, and this is what the issue is that's been holding us back, and how the sun is going to guide us from that. So the sun is the guiding light to lead us from the Knight of
Coins.
The Knight of Coins. So how could the Knight of Coins? Here we are on our horse, so we have to get down off our high horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We've been running after the dollar. We've been chasing the almighty dollar. And the Knight of Coins, the knights are not the most mature people in the world. And this guy here, and knights are...
They're still young. They run into the action.
And in particular, the Knights of Coins are pretty grounded. That's slow, the thing. They're meticulous, slow and steady. They make notes. They do everything else. And they get too focused sometimes on their goal. And maybe this goal is, I think that things outside of me is what's going to make me happy. So he is going to look for the almighty dollar. He's going to follow that dollar.
That earth energy is very material.
He is fixated on that dollar.
Yeah.
And not fixated on what our human natures have to offer each other.
Or what's truly important.
So
something that's spiritual. The spiritual sun here.
Money can't buy sunshine.
That's right.
Money can't buy the joy that you would find in this garden. So,
going forward,
we have the Two of Cups.
Oh, it is a happy ending.
Yep. And so, by letting the sun guide us and remind us. So, here he's by himself. Here he's focused. So, we are these people who are so self-centered, self-seeking, and we close ourselves off. The sun is about expressing the joy of being with each other and expressing the joy of the sun. And it's saying that if we can grab hold of that expression of the sun, if we can grab hold of that joy,
we can find love.
We can then find companionship. We can share that cup.
Yeah.
We have something to offer.
Yeah. And it's that, so the sun is that, that striving for perfection, and two is that you found your soulmate, your other half, if you will. You're having a toast, and life is good. So it's fitting that the sun is the one to say, hey, you know what? Don't focus so much on the material. There's more important things like love. And
companionship, and enjoying the sun, and
real things that need to be focused on. Exactly.
And so here, Terra Vitas, we got the let's see. So I got the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords are they express the intellectual side with compassion.
Yes.
Next to the King of Cups, who expresses his the masculine side with the feminine side. So here we have a meeting of two compassionate people. The King of Cups, although it can be, the King of Cups can be kind of battling that internal thing because he is trying to be king, but he is compassionate. And so it's almost as if we have, finding a balance between the heart and the mind.
Mm-hmm.
The Queen is definitely the heart. The King is off the heart and the mind.
Yep.
And coming up with the Ten of Pentacles is about then finding that balance and creating that family, new kingdom, happiness. That new family, the happiness and kingdom.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
That works too. Works too.
So I think that is about it.
Yes, indeed.
And I think I learned a lot this time around. And the sun, I really thought it was going to be a struggle, as I always say, a struggle to try and fill out an hour about the sun.
Never. There's always so much to talk about.
Yeah. So
another sunny day.
Yep. And Gwen is ready for that Kickstarter.
I appreciate the support. I'll let you know. You'll hear about it here first if I decide to
Pressure Michael.
If I go that route.
So Michael's website is artieforever.com and
offbeatartwork.com.
Offbeat.org.
We'll also get you there.
Yep. And MyTarot.org is mine, and that's where I have links because I do a morning meditation every day at 7:15 on the Facebook My Tarot group. And I also have an archive of all the old ones that are also on the my YouTube channel.
Yep.
Where this is also at. So if you go to mytarot.org,
it's links to everything else.
All my information there. If you have any questions. And from there, Michael?
Jamie.
Another good video
yes,
here.
Indeed.
And now we're going to go to Judgment.
Judgment comes next.
Judgment comes next. That should be interesting.
That will be.
That's the zombie card. That's where we raise from the dead.
Well,
I have the zombie tarot, and I am going to pull the zombie tarot out.
Till next week. Rains.
Take care, everybody. I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was a good one.